Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Now, let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move this morning. In Europe, I'm Caroline Hepker alongside Tom McKenzie. We're joined by Bloomberg reporter Chloe Millay. Chloe, good morning.
Good morning.
It's the end of the year, need I say that? But you want to talk about peanuts. And nuts at the end of this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So DBV, which is another company that I'd heard of before, but this is a French biotech company, and it's up more than 40% this morning. So massive jump for DBV because of its peanut allergy patch. So they just published the result of a trial that showed that their experimental skin patch helped to desensitize children aged 4 to 7 who wore it for a year. So this is a really big breakthrough in the management of peanut allergy. Mm-hmm. And so now it wants to seek US regulatory approval in the first half of 2026. So this is a successful trial that is the culmination of 20 years worth of work for DBV. It had to redesign the patch, redesign the clinical trial itself because of efforts that failed previously. But now it finally potentially has got a blockbuster on its hands. We're talking obviously about a massive patient population of peanut allergy. I am part of it myself, but more than 1.2 million children between the ages of 1 and 7 in the US and Europe are estimated to have a peanut allergy. So this is not a product that is for me, but a product that could have been for me back in the day.
Okay, could be quite a significant development then.
Yeah.
We're also watching very different space, watching the software company, one of the most valuable, if not the most valuable publicly listed tech companies in Europe, which is SAP, in the spotlight after these comments from the US, or this announcement from the US regarding potential retaliation against European firms.
Yeah, absolutely. So SAP, the biggest one, of course, but we also had companies like Capgemini, Publicis, and DHL also moving a little bit lower this morning on the back, as you say, of the US administration singling out some potential targets for retaliation. So it's threatening to impose fees or restrictions on European companies in response to the EU planning to tax big American tech companies like Meta and Google and Amazon. And so the US is preparing an investigation that would allow it to impose trade remedies, including tariffs. And so we've seen those shares for those companies that were singled out moving a little bit lower this morning, but they've not necessarily plunged. So that could indicate that perhaps those threats don't feel super concrete yet. We saw the same with Spotify, actually, which was another one of those companies that was singled out, headquartered in Sweden, but then listed in the US. So we saw the impact of that news on the shares during the US trading session, and the stock did fall quite a bit, but then it paired those declines. So we just have to kind of wait it out and see if those actually come to be. But this is, of course, heightening existing tensions between the US and the EU.
Yeah, indeed. Meanwhile, more action from President Trump and this potential oil blockade has BP on the move.
Yeah, absolutely. So the US ramping up pressure on Venezuela and ordering the blockade of sanctioned oil tankers off the coast of Venezuela. That has boosted the price of crude, and as a result, we've seen oil majors, including BP, but also Shell, Total Energies, were also up this morning. So Venezuela is an OPEC member, but not one with necessarily a massive influence or weight. So global markets, oil markets, won't be massively affected. But of course, traders trade on sentiment rather than reality sometimes. And so we have seen those shares move higher this morning. What it doesn't do actually is threaten to choke off the livelihood of the economic lifeblood of that country, which is already under massive pressure. We'll see how that goes and what the impact will be on that oil price and those oil companies as a result.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.